In this video, you will understand how each round is made up with impulses, how the terrain, water, rivers and mountains affect your movements, and how use different army orders effectively. So let's start and go to our first army. Now, if you click on the banner or symbol of your army, you can move to any nearby region by right-clicking, and then you can continue any other region, and this way you can draw a path for that particular army. But please notice that there are different colors and different numbers on this path. This number represents how many rounds that army requires to move through this path. So in this case, I need 3 rounds to reach this region. To change the path, you can right-click on any region and the plan will move back up to this region. You don't need to click all regions. So let's go back to the initial situation. I can only select the target destination region, and then the game will select the most optimal and fastest road to that region. Please notice there are different colors. The green color means that this is the land movement. The light blue color means that we are crossing a river, but this is still land movement. And the blue color means that this is a water movement. So we'll embark and then we will continue over the sea, and then we can disembark and continue our land movement further. So the color is very helpful to visualize different type of movements for our army. If you would like to fix the path, you can also use the backspace on your keyboard. So if I click once, you can see that the path is now shorter. So twice, third time, fourth time, and each time you click the backspace button, you cancel one order. You can also use the shift button to change how the game select your path. So let's say I would like to move up to here, but I would like to use only the land-based movement. So now if I hold the shift button, you can see that the path change only to the land movement. If I release the shift button, the game will select the fastest path, including the sea regions. A shift also has one special function. Let's say I would like to move from this region to this region. So you can see that the game draw a quite strange movement path. So if you would like to force movement from this region to this one, you can also hold a shift. And now we are forcing a movement between those two regions. And another example here, to reach this region, I can force direct movement between those two regions by pressing the shift and then right-clicking this region. So let's cancel this by pressing backspace 2 times. And also you should learn how to use the Ctrl key. So for example, I would like to move to this region, to this one, and then move back. If I now will right-click this region, the game will cancel the whole path, because as we know, right-clicking on the previous path is cancelling the path up to this region. So how to create a loop? And for that, you need to hold a Ctrl key, and now by right-clicking, I can have a loop. Sometimes it might be useful. Please notice that some regions are highlighted using the yellow color. This is the range for that you need for 1 round of movement. So anywhere inside this yellow area, I can move during this 1 round. And here it will be 2 rounds of movement. So this is to help you to visualize the range of movement in the current round. So here 1 round, and here it will be 2nd round. This is also quite important. So what determines how far we can go during this round? If we switch to the movement overlay, or we press 6 on the keyboard, then we will see cost of movement for each region. So the least costly movement is on the plains, and we pay only 2 movement points. But how many movement points do we have? And you can check that here. This is the movement speed. This is not how fast you are moving, but how far your army stack can move. So you have 8 movement points. And based on the terrain, you can easily calculate how far you can go. So 2 movement points here, 2 movement points here, and 2 here. So it should be 6. So why I cannot reach capital of our enemy in first round? Because we are crossing rivers. You can see this is light blue arrow. It means that we will cross a river. And if you are crossing a small river, the cost is increased by 1. And here you can see there is a big river. There is another river crossing, and the cost increased by 2. So in reality, here we pay 3 movement points, and here we pay 4 movement points. And you can see the cost in the pop-up. There is a plain terrain and land cost is 4. So it already includes the cost of the river crossing. And here the land cost is 3. So also we already have included crossing of the smaller river. And here, if I will cancel this movement and only move here, you can see land cost 2. So this pop-up is very useful to check the cost of the movement. And please notice that the land cost visible in the pop-up is a cost between those two regions. So for example, if I would instead move to this region, the cost is 3, but if I will first move here and then to this region, the cost is 2. So the cost is depending on the rivers and roads in future between those two regions. And how you can check if there are some rivers and if the river is small or big. If you click on the region, the first information here is the cost of the terrain, but also you can see on the bottom or adjacent regions and if there is a river crossing or big river crossing. So for example, this region name is Navarum, and if we hover here and if we find Navarum, you can see that there is a river crossing. But for example, to the region Golubia, there is big river crossing, so this region. And then if we check the cost, you can see that it's increased by 2 because of the big river crossing. So it's important that the small rivers are not really visible. If I will disable this layer, maybe you can notice the river, but it's, and here there is a delta of the river, but it's quite difficult to notice. But the bigger rivers are much easier to see. Even you see reflections of the light for the big rivers. And those are marshes. And here, in case of marshes, if we switch to the movement mode, you can see 2 numbers. First is for land movement and second is for the ship movement, because our ships can also reach such regions. So now we will talk more about army orders. So let me load a different game save for educational purposes. Okay, here we have a new situation. I have multiple armies and enemy region that I would like to conquer, but I would like to arrive there using all of those units at the same exact moment, because currently if I would give a move order for each of those units separately, let me do it, this unit would arrive first because there is land cost 2, this unit will arrive a bit later because there is land cost 3, and this unit will arrive first here, land cost 3, and then here land cost 3, so 6. So it will be the last unit in that region. So let's say a strong enemy army will appear, will move from the west, then I can lose all of my armies, because there will be 3 separate battles in this region. So you need to understand that each round is divided into impulses. Impulses are similar to movement points, but are also representing a time. So let's imagine that we have 12 or more impulses in one round, and this unit will spend 2 movement points to arrive to this region. So let's say this unit will arrive in impulse plus 2. This unit will arrive in impulse plus 3. And what is important is that any battle also take 1 impulse, which means that we can have 12 battles in one round and each one will be a separate battle. That's why it's very important to coordinate your armies to arrive in the same impulse. So how we can achieve our goal? Let's cancel the movements. First, I would select our main army where we have our commander and give an order to move to this region to conquer it. And now I need to merge those 2 units with that unit. So how to merge units? We can start with merging those 2 in one region. If you select the region and go to the armies, you can see that there are 2 armies in this region. One small and one big with a leader, and I can merge the smaller one to the bigger one. So first I need to select smaller one, click the merge order, and now left click here on this tab to select the destination of the merge. So now the light infantry join this army. So merging in one region is easy, but how to merge between multiple regions? And to do this, you need to select this army and Now I don't click this region because then I would only move to this region, but if you hover this army, you can see that the path changed to the arrow with a red triangle. Maybe zoom in, and please notice here this information. So if I will perform normal movement, you can see that we are changing region from Tanate to Gyros, but if I will select army and right click, you can see we are targeting army. And now we are moving from Tanate's region, but the destination is our army in the region of Gyros. This is very important because it means that we are executing the merge order on that army in this region. And now the important is timing. If this unit can reach this region before this unit will leave this region, then the merge can happen. But if it cannot happen, then this unit will try to follow that unit to finally merge with them. If not in this region, then in the next one. So this is very important information. The same we can do with that unit. So I target not the region, but I target unit, right click. We are targeting army. And now those two armies will try to merge. So let's check if they can merge. This unit will reach this region in impulse +2. This unit in impulse +2. And this unit can leave this region in impulse +3. So a bit later. So those two units can merge before this unit can leave this region. I will now play next round and you can observe how the units will behave. You can see that now is battle and we have one army that contain all previous smaller armies. So they managed to merge and they are fighting together. Hopefully there are no stronger enemy armies and now we can easily execute our enemies. Oh, you can see there is the strong enemy army, but they are slower. Please notice that enemy army appeared here quite late after all our battles were resolved. It's because they had to spend more movement points, which means that they arrive in the later impulses of the round. So once again, the move speed of the army is how many move points they can spend on their movement, but the speed depends on the terrain and rivers and even roads. But what is important is that the army speed is limited by the slowest unit in our army. So in their case, noble cavalry, if we click Ctrl to see more details, they have movement 8, cavalry movement 9, warriors move 6, and skirmishers move 7. So 2 units of warriors are slowing down the whole army to their speed, so to 6. And please notice that this is increase speed by +1 because of their specific trait related to the terrain. So they have plus movement bonus in the open or steppe terrain. And in our case, the speed is 7 because our warriors have movement 7. And why 7? Please notice that our leader has also a specific trait. He is determined and he has movement bonus +1. In case of leaders, the movement bonus also is decreasing the impulse in which we are arriving specific region. So we can say that this is -1 to the impulse. So we can visualize our round as a set of impulses where normally units start with impulse 3. If the leader has a trait that gives a movement bonus, the armies start in the impulse 2. And if the leader has trait that gives the bonus +2, then the army start in impulse 1. Same applies to negative traits. So if the leader has a trait that's slowing down the army will start in the impulse 4, which means that the leaders have huge impact on the speed of our army. And in this case, if those two armies would have the same cost of movement to this hex, and we have faster leader, we would arrive there faster, even if the cost would be the same for both of those armies. But the terrain and stepman trait only increase the move, so how far we can move our armies. Okay, so now we will load another situation. In this situation, I have conquered capital of our enemies and they escape here, so they are a bit of exhaust after the fightings, and now our goal is to eliminate this smaller army. And sometimes it might be a problem. So if I will select my army and target the region to go there and fight this army, they might escape into adjacent regions. So how to avoid losing few rounds on chasing the enemies on the map? And there is one way to do this. Instead of targeting region, you have to target the army. Now you can see that the path changed to the arrow with red triangle, same as if we are targeting our own armies. But in this case, we will chase this unit. So now, even if this army will leave this region to a different one, our unit will try to follow them until we have enough movement points. So in this case, probably it will be even better for me to remove one unit that is slowing me down, so they have 7 movement points. So exactly the same as this army. And now our army will chase them and try to fight, even if they will move to this region later or to this one. This is very useful information. And now let's check other situation. Okay, we have loaded another save. And now let's go southwest to our capital. And as you can see, we have some problems. Bosporus army is besieging our city. So in this case, if we go to armies, we have 3 armies in this region. Enemies, our garrison from the structures and the city, and also our defensive army with commander. So if we click the region, this is the information of the overall situation, and you can see that thanks to our leader, we can stay quite long in the city, but long term, the food might be a problem. So we have 2 options. We can stay and wait for any help, or maybe we can exit the city and fight. So if we go once again to armies, you can see that they have special symbol. It's similar to a wall. It means that those 2 units are behind a wall inside the city, and we can give them an order to exit the city. There are some situations when it's better to exit the city and fight if we have similar strength to the enemy, because over time we can lose effectiveness. So I will give the exit order, and I don't need to click anything else, only the exit order, and the same to our garrison. So those 2 units now, next round, will fight together, will exit the town, and will try to attack our attackers. So let's do it. So there is 6 units and 3 units. Please notice that now there is a battle and we have 9 units. So our garrison and our army join together and are fighting our enemies. We are weaker, but there is a small chance that maybe we can win. Okay, here we have another situation. We have 12 units in our army and we can issue the split order. If you do this without selecting any units, the army will split evenly, so there will be 2 armies with comparable size. Now, of course, I can merge them, so merge and left click the target army, and we have simply reverse the split order by merging. But sometimes you might want to issue the split only for specific units. Let's say I would like to select all infantry units and create new army only using infantry to let those guys be fast, because now the move speed is 5. If I will now click split, I have new army composed only with infantry and they have move speed 5, but the second army has only cavalry and move speed is 7, so they are much faster. Here I have loaded a different game. It's a late game and I will show you how the road system works. Please notice that some regions have roads. You can see they are connected and very heavily connected. It means that such roads will appear if both regions have a road. By road we mean something better than the normal public works. So in this case, in this region I have level 3 paved road, and in this one I have level 2 regional road. And then the game visualizes this as a road connecting those 2 regions. Then the movement cost for any army is 1. So if I select this army, you can see that the land cost is 1, and also here the land cost is 2, but only because the river also impact the cost. This is small river, so there is +1 the movement cost is 2, but normally it should be 3. Those stars that are visible here are representing the level of the road. So 4 stars are for the paved road, 2 stars are for the second level regional roads, and 1 star is for the normal public works. In this case, if you hover, you can see that there is a track in the last row. Here we can see that there is a road, and here we can see that there is paved road. So those symbols let you better visually identify the best connections. And having a good road system is very beneficial. Let's say this army has a move speed 8, and please notice what is their range highlighted by yellow color. So they can move in one round up to this region. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 regions, including river, by foot. Also, in case of mountains, this unit can enter the mountains and the land cost is 4, not 6, because there is a normal road. And please notice that there is harsh weather. So normally I would even be not able to enter those mountains, because also harsh weather is increasing the cost of movement. And in some regions, there might be storms happening. So let's find a region where we have very bad weather. Here, you can see those clouds, mountains with blizzard. And in this case, I cannot even enter this region. Usually bad weather increases the land cost by 1, but there is one exception in case of marshes. They are becoming frozen and the cost is half. So normally you will pay 4 movement points to enter such terrain type, but because they are frozen during the winter, the cost is only 2. So it's easier to move there. So it's good to know. And regarding army orders, there is also a garrison order. So if I click our unit, I can issue the garrison order. So the army will enter this city. I can also do this by targeting the city directly. If I will right click on a city, you can see the information entering and the city name. The same I can do here. If I will click on the region, there is normal movement order. But if I will target the city, it's highlighted a bit, then I will enter the city in that region and the garrison order is automatically highlighted. So after next round, this tab will change to the one similar to the wall of a city, and it means that we will be garrisoned behind the wall. And there is also assault order, and let's find the situation where we can issue such order. Here they are our enemies. I have here army, and I can enter the region, and then I will besiege this city and do not attack there directly. Or I can, instead of clicking on the region, I can click on the city, and then here the assault order is highlighted. It means that we are ordering an assault. So we will enter the region and automatically in the same round we will attack the city, which might be quite dangerous if the city is heavy guarded. So this is important to not accidentally click on the city, but do it if you really think that you can conquer the city in the same round. And let's move back to our initial example to show another 2 mechanics. One, if we split our army, let's say this guy I would like to send to this sea region. So they have the blue arrow. It means that we will embark, and we can do the same with that unit. But please notice that from this region we don't have any harbor. So here there is an asset, anchorage, which is treated as harbor, which means that there is no loss of efficiency if we will embark. But this unit will do the embark without any harbor, so we'll compare those 2 next round. And the remaining armies, if we go to armies and select them, we will issue the right order to both of them. So the right, if you issue this order, you don't need to click anything, but the game will automatically select a random adjacent non-friendly region that your units can attack. In this case, we can attack those 3 on north and this one on south. But please notice that this one is more dangerous to ride because they have more units. So if the game will select this one, we might have problems. So let's play next round and we see what will happen. Okay, we are in the next round and let's first check our C units. So you can see that those guys have full effectiveness, but the other ones have lost 1 point of effectiveness. So they are weaker because they embarked without the harbor. But in case of raiding, you can see there are 2 icons. The white one means that the raid was successful, and as you can read, Golubia saw an invasion by our forces and the local militia was beaten and some pillaging occurred. So in this case we can get some gold and even sometimes some slaves. But here this region was raided by us, but the defense repelled easily the invaders. And in this case, one of our armies, if we go once again to armies, is a bit damaged and they have loss of effectiveness, 1 point. The other one is fully don't have any negative consequences. And the raid here was problematic because they are more units and they can defend better. And when you can issue the raid order, if you go to the nation traits, and here you should see information that we can issue raid orders because we are tribal horde. So any factions that are quite barbaric can issue raid orders. And there is also a retaliate order. So we can click this, and then if we will attack this region, we will fight the battle, but we will not enter this region. We will go back and stay in our region. Sometimes it's useful because you can crush enemy forces and you don't lose control over this region if there are other armies that could capture it. Okay, I think that's all regarding movement and orders of your armies. I hope it was useful and you could learn something. Thank you for watching and see you later.